Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and this one we have how hard is British SAS selection? I can imagine extremely. Most people, yeah, I mean statistically, most people that even try out won't make it. But I mean, you're talking about the best of the best, the elite of the elite. So I can imagine the selection is absolutely freaking brutal. We're about to dive in and find out. Before we do, though, if you guys happen to enjoy, don't forget to smash subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and let's get to it.
What does day one look like?
You can be the biggest superstar, the greatest.
Do most people quit or do they fail?
And if you don't pass that, and a lot of people don't, then you lose a lot of numbers in the first week.
What does day one look like when you go to selection?
Just a mass of people, and I can't even remember. It's very, very, very physical, and it's designed to be that way. And I always sort of made a joke. You could turn up as an Olympian and be no better off than the next person in about 2 weeks, because that's what it's designed to do, is strip you down physically. Because what they're really interested in is what sort of person are you, and how sort of mentally tough and plied can you be. And you can't test that out when there's still such massive individual differences in physicality. So, it's not that you can reduce everyone down to a level platform.
How would they do that?
I absolutely love that. So to the best that they can, right? He said, don't matter if you're an Olympian or the guy that's been there for 2 weeks, right? They try to strip you down to see what's on the inside. They try to see mentally, like, can you handle this? What kind of person are you? I love that. Let's keep it going.
Runs all the time, carries up hills. Almost at every point you're getting run around to do something. There's some tuition in it, so they're teaching you some skills in how to then do test week, and they're building you up and developing. I mean, let's face it, no one's succeeding in their job if everyone fails everything. You need to get people through these. So ultimately I saw what they were doing as it was helpful, and the DS were extremely well trained, and they essentially preparing you, although it didn't feel like it. What's interesting about selection is you don't get any encouragement at all. That's one of the tests. It's seeing what's inside you. It's like, you don't get shouted at. I play a few games with you. Call you a name or two, right? They're not necessarily trying to be your friend, but they're certainly not giving you any encouragement, and you don't really get shouted at. If you've had enough, you get told to put your Bergen down. And that was very, very interesting, because I think essentially what they're looking at is each individual to sort of demonstrate who they are themselves, And I tend to see that the people who are there to try and just impress the directing staff, they'd be some of the first to go.
Really? Do most people quit or do they fail?
I think that's incredible, though. That the vetting process is designed to pick up those who, right, mentally aren't there for the right reasons. And if you're not there, if you don't have that just motivation for being there, I don't know what your why is, what people's motivation is, but everybody has one. And if your motivation is selfish, it's just like, I want to impress, you're probably not going to make it. But if your motivation is about something that's bigger than you, that has the potential to push you much further than you thought you could go. Just mentally, physically, you can push yourself further. But if you got selfish motivations, then you're probably going to drop out. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying more than likely you're going to drop out.
Most people quit. Well, no. In the first part, which is all physical, it's hills and tests over test marches with weight. It's that people fail mostly at that point, so that's the big reduction in numbers. But when you go into the jungle, that's when more people will fail themselves by withdrawing.
When you go into the jungle?
Yes.
So this isn't just a selection that takes place in UK?
No, so you bounce, only what that part is, we go into the jungle for a considerable period of time, and that's from the history of the unit having served in the jungle in Malaya. and seeing some of the challenges of that environment. So they look at you in the jungle, and the jungle is a real great arbiter, right? You know, you get these people who make a very good play of who they are in the jungle. It exposes you straight away. You know, it's a very, very tough environment to be
Where do
in.
you go?
Over by Malaysia. So it's all
Okay.
over in the Malaya area.
So is selection broken up into phases, or is it?
Yes,
It's how
and
long
it's
is it? Did you say
progressive
6 months?
phases. Yeah,
Like in the jungle, yeah. As soon as they would have said jungle, I said, yeah, you can count me out, dog. You can. But again, this is the SAS we're talking about. This is the best of the best, the elite of the elite. So yeah, you're gonna be thrown in. It seems like every kind of situation like that they can throw you in training because you have to be prepared, right? You need to understand exactly what it is that you're signing up for, and we got to make sure you're prepared to go out there when the time
so
comes.
6 months. I remember it's 182 tested days. It's actually, you know, it is tested, but at certain stages you then become expected to pass. But essentially, you've got your physical part, which is your hills phase. You've got your jungle part, which is when they start being interested in who you are. So they look at you as a character, and they start. Most importantly, they're looking whether you support one another, because you can go into
They want a team player.
you can be the biggest superstar, you know, the greatest physical, you know,
Specimen.
specimen in the world. If you cannot work amongst other people and support one another, you are never going to be good. So, in my opinion, any special forces unit, but definitely not that one. And that's a really, really key trait that they're looking for. And they're also looking for that thing in you that says, you know, it's got too tough. I want some respite. I need a moment. And that's called voluntary withdrawal.
What? So the first is all ruck marches and
Yes.
physical test. What are you doing in the jungle?
Jungle is more operating in the jungle. It's not. It's basically used because it's such an amazing environment to see what soldiers are like and characters are like. But you're also starting to learn the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, how to exist in a tough environment. You do a lot of patrolling. You do a small amount of survival. You do other bits, but essentially it's really used as a way of looking at you to see whether you're suitable for service.
What kind of survival?
So you just go without food, and then it's up to you to kind of survive. You know, they bump you at one point, like they usually do, see how you respond to things. You have to go on long, long patrols, and you know the jungle is a very tough environment to exist in. You know, you only sleep at night. You get up in the morning in the dark, put cold, wet clothes on. You have to work hard to stop your body from rotting. You know, so all of these things are very interesting things to look at.
So when you say go without food, that means like they not gonna give you food, but basically you don't have to live off the land. You don't have to eat what you catch, or like you're not allowed to eat in general. I'm not sure, but yeah, just the way he even describing the jungle dog, like mm-mm, putting cold, wet clothes on, saying you have to work hard just for your body not to rot, like mm-mm, mm-mm,
When you're trying to evaluate someone for whether they're going to take the easy way out, you know, whether they're sort of nipping on their administration, you know. So, and you make a mistake in the jungle, you aren't coming back from it, right? You just aren't.
How long is the jungle phase?
So, 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
No, but not all of that's in jungle. Some of it is preparation. I'm sure it's 6 weeks. Something like 6 weeks.
Close to 6 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
How long do you go without food?
Not long there. Just I think it's just a kind of introduction to. Because I haven't had the chance to train you at this point. You know, I haven't had a chance to.
Oh, so this is like light instruction, like very little
Yeah, so
instruction.
most of all they're looking at you. So
Okay.
you learn enough to be quite basic in the jungle, patrol, set up your camps, whatever you
okay,
do.
okay.
They're really just looking
Observing.
at you. Yeah. And ranges in the jungle are extremely tough. You know, the environment is really kind of quite oppressive. You can't see far. You know, again, you have to rely on a lot of your instincts to tell you what's going on. You know, it's very noisy, can be very wet. You know, everything's trying to eat you, and it's all really small. You know, and it can be very, very uncomfortable. If you take shortcuts on your administration, you'll quickly become ill. Your body will start having problems and rotting. You know, so all of these things they can just allow to happen. You know, you do some really, really tough physical tests. It's very, very humid. You know, the hills there are very, very steep. So you do some very, very tough physical tests, and they're looking for that moment. You know, looking for that moment. You say, look, you know,
I'm done.
I'm done, or you know, and the vast majority of people who say that they've kind of changed their mind quite soon after. But that's what they're looking for.
Where do you go after jungle phase?
So that moment, basically, you hit rock bottom. That moment where you ain't got nothing left to give. You done gave it everything you had, and you just like, I'm done. But then you find those who, like you said, change their mind quickly after saying that, who find something inside of them, something to push them further. You know what? I can't give up now. I've come this far. I've got to keep pushing. And you want that person, and not the person who doesn't change their mind. They say I'm done. They mean they're done, and they're done. But that person who will hit rock bottom, who will feel completely mentally, emotionally done, physically done, but then we'll find something in them to go a little bit longer, take that next step, to keep pushing them.
So they do a review every run, and then they pass or fail you afterwards. The ones that have done, and you go and do a series of different courses, sort of tuition courses. So you cover stuff like signals, I think. I might be getting the order mixed up here, but you know, you do your skills and you learn various things. But the significant phases, then you start going into mastering basic OP. So living close with people in holes and mastering some sort of elementary elements of surveillance and reconnaissance. Then you I think do some parachuting for the ones who are not. So for us, I was a trained paratrooper already, so I didn't have to do the basic part. Just had to convert onto different parachutes. There's an element of starting to do sort of multi-floor, multi-room combat, which is, you know, CQB is very, very tough testing environments. The margins are very small and the arcs are down, so that can be a challenge for certain people. And again, all of these things, if they deem you unsafe, then ultimately they fail you. The last thing people want in these sorts of roles is people who are out of their depth all the time. So that's why it's called pass or fail all the way through. But it's unlikely you're going to start failing after that. There's
After CQB?
no, so there's an escape and evasion phase. It's quite iconic, and it's split up into how to survive out in the wild, out in unsupported environment, and then there's a part where you just get chased around by a hunt force, and there's another part where you go and you have your introductions to interrogation phases and things like that. At that point, if you've passed that, you're expected to pass.
Oh, okay.
But if you get through the jungle, people
That's
be
the
like,
majority.
yeah, you'd be like, you don't want to lose people after that.
Yeah.
I did pick up on it. But it's not supposed to be friendly. But you kind of, this is a joint effort. And there was a level of trust in it. The way I went about selection is, I was like, I'm just going to be here. I'm never going to question whether I'm good enough or not, because actually it's up to the DS to tell you that, and they will do. And actually,
They said that they will. I love the way it's up to them to tell you that, and they will do.
if you're going to be failed, and I found it was a better way to go about it for me. I didn't have to keep questioning, am I good enough for this? Have I done well enough? You cannot go through that period of training and not have a couple of mistakes. You have a couple of safety calls, all that sort of stuff. And that can weigh heavily on you if you let it. So you
Mhm.
just accept it. It's moved on. Do you know what? It's your decision. At the end of the day, you're either going to get carried off because you're injured, or you're going to get felled because you're not good enough. And that was a good enough sort of stage for me. And
I love that.
essentially, it's not comfortable. It's not meant to be comfortable, and parts of it are enjoyable, but only very, very small parts.
I
How
love the mentality of it's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna stress or worry about am I good enough? Am I doing enough? That this mistake gonna weigh me down? I'm going to be there. I'm going to give it my best, and I'm gonna let them make that call, right? But the only way that I am leaving is if I am carried off due to injury or they fail me. I will not walk out of here. And I think once you make that decision and you stand firm on that, that's it. That's it.
many people disappeared from the start until after Jungle Phase?
How many people disappeared? So if I remember rightly, I think after the jungle, we're down to roughly about 36.
Oh shit!
I don't know why
So almost
36 sticks
everybody.
out. Yeah, yeah. So, but the main loss of numbers is on the physical phase
Gotcha.
at the start. And they they I don't think selections change much. It's a tried and tested pathway, and it prepares people very well. But they may have adjusted certain parts of it now, and the way they do it. But essentially, there's a test at the end of the first week, and if you don't pass that, and a lot of people don't,
Mm.
then so you lose a lot of numbers in the first week and down. But it's pointless staying on the course if you're never going to make it to the end, right? It's better to sort everyone out quite early, look at things. And I don't know why 36 stands in my head, but it does. I'm pretty sure it's 36 by the end of that phase, and then we only lost, I think, another 10.
Wow.
I think
Mm.
so.
How
And
much?
they're
So down
split.
from about roughly 240 people to 26 by the
I
end.
think so, yeah. And they were split between the two units, SAS and SB.
How do you know? Well, we'll get there. So what happens when you pass everything? No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan.
That's crazy. But yeah, that just goes to show you that it is not easy. It is very difficult. You have to be mentally and physically prepared to do something like that. I would say spiritually as well, but emotionally as well. Like, and that's one thing that I think that just like I think everybody needs to take out of life. Like nothing worth having is going to come easy. You're going to continuously run into situations where you can take the easy way or you can choose to persevere and take the more difficult road. And for me, most of my life, I've took the easy way, and I know a lot of people choose to take the easy way. The bad thing about it is you get to a point in your life where you're looking at yourself and you're disappointed because you're not where you want to be. And you realize it was each and every single easy decision that you took that got you to this position. All of those difficult roads that you avoided because in your head they were too hard. Yeah. So I think just not in just joining the SAS, but just in life. Life is difficult for everybody. Life is a struggle. People have different problems. Rich people got different problems than poor people, but they got problems. Life is a life test everybody. So when that test of life comes, don't be afraid to to take the difficult road. Leave that easy way alone. It doesn't lead anywhere. That's all we have. I hope that y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.